This is Janelle Quick. I am the founder and CEO of Adulting with Moi, and I'm very excited to be here because basically what I'm going to be doing is hopefully every Thursday I'll be getting on live or submitting a video to you all so that you guys can see and hopefully engage my other followers, because I've been getting a lot of messages through my DMs, which is great, but some of the questions that I get totally can benefit everyone else, so why not, just speak to you all. Okay, so today's topic, and it will not be long, is how to budget. And since that was so broad, I just kind of gave a little few tips that I'll just cover real quickly. I have my notes here so I can stay concise with you all. But excuse my voice too, I'm a little sick. But with that said, I thought to just cover over budgeting, especially when I got this question, was tips on apps that we can use or you can use to help with budgeting, and my insight on why budgeting is so important. And then of course lastly is tips on how to stay on track with budgeting, because that is very important, right? So with that said, let's just get started and dive right in. So how to budget. I think the best way to start, you can do the old school way like I did, which is the handy dandy paper and pen, right? And just write out all your bills, write out all your expenses, and budget out your lifestyle via pen and paper. If you're not like that and you just like, why would I ever do that, ancient way, I guess what I would suggest is using an app, okay? And there's several apps out there. The first one I used was Mint, M-I-N-T. I believe I talked about it in another video. But Mint is a really great organizational app because you can put in your bills. You can also set up notifications or some type of alerts that when you sync your bank accounts to these to this app, when you spend money, you'll be like, oh, you're getting closer to your budget, or you maxed your budget out, whatever they say. So I used to use Mint a while ago, so I can't remember exactly verbatim, but they were really great and it's free. So that's really a great thing. Another app I heard I have not used was Clarity. Clarity is spelled Clarity. And with that said, it basically helps you provide more clarity to your budgets. It kind of breaks it down in your different budget line items, which I think is very helpful because a lot of people starting out may not know what goes into a budget line item, right? And so what I would say is, any type of expense, and not a bill. What I define as a bill is a fixed number you pay monthly for some type of service. So like your cable, your internet, your rent, lights, all that stuff that you pay a fixed amount every month to, live, because you're getting a providing of some type of good or service. That's a bill. Well, what I would consider an expense, which will go on your budgeting sheet or budgeting app, is like groceries, eating out, coffee, hair and nails, barbershops for the guys, shopping. I don't know why I missed that, but shopping, anything that you would do that's a variable that can totally vary every week, depending on your mood, that would be considered an expense. Okay, so like I said, Clarity is also a great app, and I believe that's free as well. And then the last one I would say is Truebill. One of my clients actually used this. I have not used it again, but my client uses it, and they've been able to be on it really strict with the budgeting. And every time we have our consultations, they're on it. So I'm happy for that app to keep my client on track. So with that said, definitely try those out. And if you definitely have used them, please let me know your thoughts and comments, because I know people would love to hear them, since I can't give a personal anecdote on that. Excuse me. I'm going to get better soon. You don't worry. Okay. So the next thing was to keep this right along is my insight on why budgeting is important. Okay. So obviously a lot of people hear budgeting and they're like, why would I want to budget? This is like ruining my life. Oh, I hate that word. And it's like, yeah, sometimes it's not the sexiest word out there. You know what I mean? But I think I like to shy away from that because basically I believe by budgeting your money, you are in control of your spending habits, right? Instead of the other way around. And a lot of us, if we can admit and be honest here, I'm all about authenticity and truthfulness, we can be slaves to our own spending habits. We're just so used to spending this amount when we go out. We're so used to going out with the girls and the boys when anyone says, oh, basically I feel like let's go get some coffee, or let's go get this, and you're like, oh, okay, let's go, when you can be really a slave or enslaved to these spending habits that actually hurt you in the end and your financial well-being. Okay, so when you make that choice to want to be financially literate or obtain financial freedom, you have to change your lifestyle. So budgeting helps that. I personally think I see it as a way of freedom because, one, now I know how much I have to spend in this category. Now I know if I don't spend as much as that category, I'll have more next time. Classic example with my groceries. Every time I get paid, I put in like $100 for my bucket of groceries, right? If I go to the shopping center and I only spend $75, right, I'll have $25 left over, right? So next time I get paid, I'm going to put $100 again because I budgeted that way every time I get paid. Now I have $125 from the prior time I got paid for not using that. So now I'm pulling from a budget pool. So if, say it's now Thanksgiving or whatnot, right, and Thanksgiving you are probably going to get more food, now you're pulling from this bigger surplus pool of money instead of trying to overspend or overfund or over budget and take money from other places, because you already categorize this and you already set the precedent to be able to have that emergency money in a way, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. The other thing is why budgeting is very important, or why it's very important, is it's a realistic, okay, capitalize on realistic spending plan based on your income and expenses. When I hear people say, oh yeah, I'm going to go on budget and I'm just going to not spend anything, that's a lie, okay? I'm not here to give you a false conception of who you think you are. I'm here to help you and be authentic and real with who you are. I know if someone said, Jadon, your new budget means that you can't go out on the weekends, I'm going to look at them like they're crazy, because I go out every weekend. That's part of my lifestyle. Now, with that said, I got to make sure I can afford that. So that's why I budget for it, right? There are people that I've had, like, they're like, oh, I love Starbucks coffee. And they drink like maybe 5 cups a day. And it's like, you can't just quit cold turkey on the coffee. One, because you're probably addicted, okay? Caffeine is a drug. And then 2, you're used to it. So you're like, I spend $25 a day on this, I must do this. And not saying it's a drug, but you want to just dial it back a little bit. Maybe 3 cups, maybe none, because your office has actual free coffee and you can make your own coffee at your desk in your office, and save that much money you would have spent on Starbucks. So just that's what I help you realize and create a realistic budget that actually matches your unique personality with your busy life, right? The other thing I would say is that it's written down. A budget is very important. A budgeting is really important, but it's even more important to write it down, because this is supposed to be like a living document. As you live, your budget lives. As the holidays come, your budgets will adjust with the holidays. As your birthday comes, your budget will adjust with your birthday. It will fluctuate just like you will fluctuate. If homecoming season is coming around, you're going back to school, you're going to wine and dine your friends, whatever the case may be, your budget will do the same thing, because it's your money, right? It's your spending plan. So you need to be one-on-one with it, okay? So I definitely think it's very important to have it on some app, a spreadsheet, or write it down, okay? Because I've done them all, honestly, and kind of just cross-reference. But they're very important to have a written living document, because it lives with you. If you get married, your budget's going to change, let alone day to day. Just there's more income coming, there's more expenses coming, there may be more debt coming. So you need to know that, right? If you have a baby, that's a whole nother nother budget, you know what I'm saying? So you want to make sure that this budget follows you and is in tuned and in alignment with your life, because that's what it is. And then lastly, to just to wrap it up, is the tips on how to stay on track with budgeting. It's really hard sometimes when you're first starting. You need accountability. That's what I'm here for. So, shameless plug, if you want to set up a session with me, you can totally do that. You can visit my website. I'm going to put it below here somewhere or in the bio, and you can totally visit it and book a session with moi. If you have my email, you can totally email me as well. That's adultingwithmoi@gmail.com. And you can also follow me on Instagram. And follow and subscribe on YouTube, okay? But with that said, it can be hard. So you need accountability. Sometimes you might want to start with someone else. You might not want to just do it yourself until you're trained and disciplined enough to know, no, Jada, I don't have that because I spent it already on something else. So no, it took me a while to get to that. It was not an overnight success, right? So with that said, I would really, really try to look for an accountability partner, okay? I'm here if you need me. The last thing is, two things. I lied. Is live within your means, right? To help stay on track is living within your means. Don't, unless you're Daddy Warbucks' daughter, I really don't expect you to have a budget or at least some type of restriction on your spending habits because you're Daddy Warbucks' daughter. And when you find out you're not, which most of us aren't, we'll come back to earth, and then we'll work on that because you have to live within your means, okay? That's why I say realistic. It's not something that's, I want to be like this one day. What do you have now? Okay? Because it's not going to work if we're dreaming up here and you're here. Okay? And then when you get here, that's great. We'll adjust. That's why it's a living document. You'll always have it. Okay? But we got to be realistic. The other thing is, a lot of people I find, and I've done it myself in a way, is when we get out on our own, we got a new home, apartment, car, we just graduated. Yeah, I got a new job. The world's our oyster. We get into this whole habit of just like trying to raise our standard of living quickly. We're like, gotta get the new car, gotta get the new phone, gotta get all this stuff, bling, bling, bling. When we need to live and raise our livelihood slowly, okay? Because first of all, there's always gonna be a new phone. Newsflash, the iPhone 11 just dropped, okay? And I'm telling you, I can't believe people are spending this much money on a freaking phone, but they are. And it's just crazy to me. It baffles me. But with that said, if you want it, go do it. I'm not here to, make you feel bad for spending money. I'm just helping you realize, do you really need it? And do you really just want it? Clearly, the answer is want. But if you have it and you can afford it, I would never say anything and I would shut my mouth. But if you can't afford it, you're going to hear me, especially if you're my client. With that said, you want to make sure you're rising your livelihood and your lifestyle slowly, okay? And again, last but not least is budget like your future depends on it, because it does. I mean, the way you handle your money now is how you're going to handle your money forever. These are habits, okay, that you've been trained in, brought up in, raised in. You teach your kids these things. You are amongst your friends and peers and do similar tactics. To break out of some of these bad habits, you are going to have to think differently. You're going to have to elevate yourself and not succumb to the peers. You're not succumb to the peer pressure, and actually change something to be better, right? So with that said, definitely understand that if you budget $100 and just can work it out, you can budget $1 million. I will definitely bet on that. But this is why people that win lotteries, you'll see them like, oh, I got all this money, and then like a year or two later they're like bankrupt, or all their money is gone. Why? Because they didn't get trained in financial literacy, which is actually not their fault, because we have a lack of educational financial literacy in our schools. However, seeking that counsel, that wise advisor, or some type of way, they didn't break those habits of spend. Your money is not like you're going to win the lottery every freaking, year. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is going to deplete one day, okay? So make your money work for you and live within your means, right? So with that said, like I said before, to reiterate, you want to make sure that you're budgeting correctly, because when you get more, you'll know how to do more with what you have and actually maintain the lifestyle you have. And if you want to advance your life, go ahead, upgrade yourself. But we're going to do it where you can afford it, where you're not paying, getting into more debt, okay? And any other discrepancies that you should not be doing if you're trying to upgrade your lifestyle. So that's all I got, and I'm really happy that you guys stayed tuned. Definitely follow me on Instagram. Again, if you want to get in contact with me, definitely DM me if you see this on Instagram, adulting_with_moi, or email me adultingwithmoa@gmail.com, and definitely follow, like, subscribe, and I can't wait to hear from you in these comments. Okay, have a great night. Bye.